Let's be realistic. Lufthansa's business class product is a tiny bit meh. At the front of the plane, it's a different story. Champagne, masses of space, and a fine dining experience. Who would have known it had such an amazing hard product and a service to match? And I am so lucky to have been able to fly this. Let's find out why. I certainly feel at home in Asia, and it may just be my second love. We certainly have been having a tour, having flown on Swiss's beloved A320 in business class, before heading over to one of our favourite cities in the world, Hong Kong, flying one of our top 10 airlines, Cathay Pacific, in economy. Today's video starts off at Shanghai Pudong International Airport. So it's worth just noting that while Cathay Pacific, who we flew in with, go from Terminal 1, Lufthansa go from Terminal 2. No worries if you get it wrong, but if you do, it'll cost you 15 minutes walking. A few other things of interest. English is not commonly spoken here, and international credit cards are not widely accepted, which caused me a few challenges when arriving at the beginning of the week. Having learnt my lesson, it's off to the check-in, and having only experienced first class on other airlines, I truly wasn't prepared for how good the ground service is. Queues are separated into first, business and economy as expected, but an agent was waiting at the desk for me. Am I being detained? No. You see, Lufthansa tries to make the experience as easy as possible, because you're paying top dollar. So the airline's agent, as seen in blue here, scans my boarding card en route to the Air China lounge, so that when I do arrive, I can simply walk straight in. Also an incredible experience with the special lines available for passport control and the security check, making this one hell of a super easy and fast experience. So downstairs is like a kind of relaxation area with a small bar. Let's go have a look upstairs at the food. The Air China lounge is not quite as nice as the Cathay Pacific one I was sitting in yesterday. There's plenty of plush chairs, and I do like the atmospheric lighting with the blue LEDs. It's pretty quiet as well. Food-wise, they cater to both local and Western markets, so you'll find hash brown and sausages in the one area and dim sum in the other. And there is an absolute feast of desserts. There is only so much I can eat and read on the internet, given that Instagram, Facebook and many of the social platforms just won't load in China. So I'm off to explore the rest of the airport. So that was a pretty good lounge, to be fair, for Air China. Plenty of seating, nice variety of food, and I liked the LED lighting, that was nice. I have just achieved frequent flyer status with Lufthansa, and having achieved it, this is how I'm feeling. So I'm sort of celebrating, but also have no idea what exactly this gets me. If you know, please drop us some words of wisdom in the comments section below. Otherwise, Air China is part of Star Alliance, alongside all these other airlines, some of which are our favourites, having flown them recently and loved the experience. For those who like getting their steps in, this is a very long terminal, and besides looking in the duty free and maybe buying yourself a cute panda toy, you could walk to the airport's museum, which mostly has historical porcelain and a collection of clocks. Or my favourite, and if you're a regular, you know I do this a lot, to find some good window views of the parked planes. Now being Shanghai, this has an insanely large population of 25 million, and as a result there are plenty of wide-body planes feeding the city. I still have over an hour until boarding, so I'm making my way back to the lounge, and in doing so I've discovered there is in fact a first class lounge. So how did I end up in the business class lounge? I'll never know. That does mean though you get to see both. Both lounges are really similar, with dark wood and beige seats, but the first class lounge uses them to sort of create different areas. Maybe the menu is the same because it's been a few hours since I've been there, but there is an abundance of sandwiches and pizza. Yum. I probably wouldn't rush here though, but it certainly is comfortable and very quiet. Only 5 other passengers were in here. While I sit back and relax, just for the next 40 minutes, let's see what today's journey has in store for us. LH729 will cover a distance of 5,480 miles, departing at 11:30 in the morning, arriving to Frankfurt the same day at 18:55, some 14 hours later. You're probably wondering how much did this cost, and we'll get to that later in the video. Today's flight will be operated by Lufthansa's much newer and shiny Boeing 747-8, which is the updated version of the classic Queen of the Skies. You can tell because of the pattern on the back of those lovely 4 engines. Also noteworthy is as it features the old livery, with the blue and yellow tail, unlike the Boeing 747-400 we took in business class to Delhi. And if you want to see our surprisingly good flight and review, it'll be available on the end of this one. I must say, I'm pretty excited after spending far too much time deciding whether to upgrade or not. So boarding was bang on 11:30. This is going to be my home for the next 14 hours, and the video doesn't do it justice, but this seat is incredible in person. And what are the best seats? I'll just point out, if you're flying business class, which is where I originally was, you want to sit on the upper deck, because it's in a more private and cosy 2-2 configuration, unlike the lower level, which is in a 2-2-2. Looking at this beautiful shot I took when we landed into Frankfurt, first class is in a much more favourable 1-2-1, except for 1A and 1K, which are also the most private because this is where the nose pinches, and as a result there's no middle seats. A small serving table has been set up just in front of seats 3D and G, and I've been offered a glass of champagne and a small but delightful plate of warm macadamia nuts. Slippers are available in business class, but in addition to that in first, you also get a set of pyjamas. Normally the slippers are sort of a one-time use and a bit cheap, but these were so good I'm even wearing them at home. Whilst thoroughly enjoying my champagne, I've also received a hot towel on a china plate from the delightful and very charming cabin crew. As the jet bridge retracts, it's time for the in-flight safety demonstration.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, your captain. Actually, good afternoon, your captain. My name is Michael Jäger. Welcome on board on this flight to Frankfurt.
We will now show you the safety features on board.
Öffnen Sie die Staufächer über Ihren Sitzen immer vorsichtig, damit keine Gegenstände herausfallen können.
Hey, who drank my drink? But on a serious note, I do love that the glass is embossed with a Lufthansa symbol. And then my distraction was taken away by the view from the window. My seat 3A is incredible in terms of space, with a seat pitch of 83 inches and a width of 30.5. When you think about that, that is pretty amazing. In fact, each seat is so large that you get a full 4 windows. This does create a slight challenge because the TV, which is only 17.5 inches, is really far away. And the same goes for my drink, which is on that small side table. Being so far away, you need the control for the in-flight entertainment, which is found in the left arm. And just beyond that is a storage pocket with the headphones. More on that one in a bit. Just before it is a small but slim storage pocket that I never used. And the one on the right contains all the controls for the seat's function. I was a little distracted, my bad, so didn't record the ottoman which is just below the in-flight entertainment. There is quite a bit of room in here, and this should really be your go-to storage space. But if not, the cabin crew have lockers which are to my right, just before the galley, which is helpful because there are no storage lockers above the centre of the cabin. In the world of design, less is more, and the menus are incredibly attractive. While I graze on this cheese and prawn amuse-bouche, that's if I can reach it. Ah, that's better. Let's take a look at today's menu. The tray table is pretty big and requires 2 hands, and it's stored at the left hand side of the seat just below the rows. Now for the appetizer, this is a rare occasion, and I can never bring myself to purchase caviar in the real world. This comes with traditional garnishes, and then my favourite garlic bread, and then just for fun, a pretzel. A strange combination, I know, but extremely delicious. I didn't realise that all 4 items on the appetizer list are served unless otherwise told not to, but they aren't very big. So here we have sweet and sour pork short rib, smoked salmon and crab meat, tofu flan and edamame tahini, mixed green with red quinoa, cucumber and asparagus. Woo. At this point I needed an intermission, so requested a pot of tea which was presented in a wonderful way. And in comes to view this amazing view of Beijing's Daxing International Airport. What an incredible design. Tea spilt, blame the turbulence, milk poured, and the main course arrives, which is slow cooked duck leg confit with orange jus, cabbage, broccoli and potatoes. Such a delightful taste and so homely. This is one of the best features of this seat, and so much fun to play with. They can be controlled individually or together, but I won't keep them closed just yet because we're approaching the border of China, somewhere near the Yulong Snow Mountains, which are so magical I want to cry. Speaking of cold things, I was full, but the cabin crew insisted I have 2 scoops of the Madagascar vanilla ice cream. Some things don't taste well in the sky, because of the low pressure and the height, but this is not one of them, and I would have eaten this again and again and again, if it wasn't so full. As we flew over Kazakhstan, it was still light outside, and with 10 hours to go, I found myself a decent movie on the in-flight entertainment. Lufthansa's interface is not the best. It does look a tiny bit dated, and with the screen so far away, remember it's 17.5 inches, it's sometimes hard to see the thumbnails. It does have a reasonable amount of content, both movies and TV series, but it's not quite as extensive as I would have liked. Who doesn't love a box of chocolates? And these look pretty good. In fact, they look so good I took them back to share with Brent, and we were not disappointed. Earlier I was handed this voucher, because if you're travelling in first class, you're given complimentary internet for the duration of the flight. Surprisingly, it was very good towards the beginning, but once we got to Azerbaijan, I don't think it worked even when passing through Europe. Otherwise, messaging can be purchased for €6. 2 hours of faster browsing is 16, and for the full flight it's 27. I would say the first and the third option seem quite reasonable, but the middle is terrible value. So I'm just sitting in one of my favourite places to be on an airplane, especially the Boeing 747. There's about 10 hours to go. I couldn't stay up because it's a day flight, so I'm going to have a little bit of a nap. This is such a beautiful bathroom, and much larger than you typically find. The amenities certainly do seem first class, from Augustida Spader, mouthwash and Evian facial spray. There's even a fresh rose, which adds a sense of charm. And just like first class on Qatar's A380, another seat cover hides the not so aesthetic toilet. And there's even a view out the window over Kazakhstan. I will see you guys in a bit for dinner. I was so comfortable and there was so much room, I managed to get a good 7 hours sleep. So besides some classic will and grace, I'm eager to try the meal service. And unfortunately, this is where things aren't quite so good. Even the cabin crew agreed that 2 of the passengers had tried the burgers and didn't enjoy them. So I'm going all fishy and having the marinated scallops with XO sauce and asparagus, which was good but not amazing, even if the presentation was. And this is followed by the crayfish bisque soup with tarragon creme fraiche and shrimp. Sensing I wasn't overly impressed and clearly being a tiny bit embarrassed, the cabin crew remembered my earlier preference and delivered a lovely English tea and a very fresh plate of different fruits.
My name is Mark Wieland, I'm your first officer today. We just left our cruising altitude and are descending towards Frankfurt.
Rather than put the lights on full, the cabin crew gently raised them, so not to blind us, which was appreciated. And this gives me the opportunity to finally show you the Ottoman, just below the in-flight entertainment. And it's so large you could probably fit a small rucksack in there. So, the big question. My original ticket was a bit of a bargain to start with, but if you simply book the flight direct in first class, this will set you back £7,588. Wow. I spent ages in Hong Kong trying to decide. In fact, like all good decisions, I slept on it overnight. And in the morning, my subconscious was telling me,
don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true!
And I did. So for less than €1,000, I was content in the knowledge that the next 14 hours would be one of the most incredible experiences of my life.
That was such an incredible flight. The first thing is I wasn't expecting that product to blow my mind, but when you come into the cabin there is so much space in there, you can't help but feel overwhelmed by it. 30.5 inches, my shoulders never felt like they touched the edges. The food again, really tasty. Love the fact that you get a main meal to start with, and then the second one's kind of like order as you go, so you can have it when you want, arrival, during, whichever, it doesn't really matter which one.
I would just end by saying what a joy it was to fly the Queen of the Skies. And besides Lufthansa, who's committed to the new Boeing 747 variant, we're not sure how much longer they will be seen in the skies. Thank you so much for joining us on today's journey.